What's up, weirdos, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Felicia. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button so we can just hang out all the time. And today we're talking about the new movie called Escape Room. So I've seen a lot of stuff on the internet that in general says, this movie sucks. And I was like, okay, I hear you. But I wanted to check it out for myself. So my BFF Lauren and I, we got some Thai food, we went to the theater, and now I'm going to tell you what I thought. So basically, Escape Room is about 6 strangers that are invited to compete for $10,000 to escape an escape room. The trendy places where you go and you have clues and puzzles and all these things, and you got to figure out how to get out of there. But of course, in this movie, it is really an escape from death room. Classic. So as soon as this movie started, I was like, oh no. And that is because they try to build up the background of all these characters, and it is so cheesy. And they set up Zoe, played by Taylor Russell, to be our main character, and that's fine. But they're just like showing us that she is an introverted smart girl, or by like punching us in the face with it. Literally, her roommate says, you know, life isn't a science experiment. And I was like, whoa, bad. And that brings me to my second thing that is bothering me about this movie, and that is the script is just poo-poo. The script is really bad, and whoa, Felicia. You're being a little harsh, don't you think? Is there anything you liked about this movie? Yes. Okay, so the rooms that these characters have to go through, there are 5, and honestly, they are pretty cool. They are interesting, and they build tension really well. I won't give away what they are, but I'll just say my favorites were rooms 1 and 3, and I was grateful for that because that is the one thing that kept this movie interesting for me, is that the rooms were pretty well done, because other than that, like, I didn't care about any of the characters. I thought none of them were really very likable. The only one I liked, and it's not even because the character was good, the character was bad, but we have Tyler the Bean, aka Dale from Tucker and Dale in this movie. His character's bad, but he is adorable as always. But other than that, like, all the characters are just sort of like really annoying and just hateful or dumb or just annoying. I know that, but like, it's like if you're gonna have a movie where we're like fighting for someone to survive, like there should be someone I'm like fighting for them to survive, and like I didn't really feel that about anyone. Now my biggest complaint about this movie, and I will say I'm not alone in this, a lot of people thought this, but it's just the truth, and that is the last 20 minutes is like really, it is so much. They really shot themselves in the foot in so many ways, but I will get to that in the spoilers. And I will also tell you my favorite moment, which is like super badass, really liked it, but I'll also tell you that in the spoilers, blah blah. Let's get to the ratings. So for the scare, it gets a 2. There were like a couple times where I was like, oh no, and the tension was building well. But in general, not a super scary movie. For the gore gets a 1 because this movie is aggressively PG-13. I would say even maybe PG-12 or 11, which are not actual ratings, but that's how I felt. A lot of people are calling this like the PG-13 Saw. I wouldn't really agree. I would say maybe on like original concept, but not necessarily an execution. Get it? Execution? No. For the cheese gets a 3, and only because the lines were so dumb. I felt so bad for these actors. It was just not fair. But really, it's just the writing that gives this movie a 3. And overall, this movie gets a 2 for me. I definitely won't be watching it again. I think they had some actually cool ideas, but it got overcomplicated. I think they need to simplify the script, make it just better. And also, for my own personal preference, I would have appreciated some better kills. Okay, and now let's get to the spoilers. Okay, yeah, so the last 20 minutes, I was like, stop, no, stop what you're doing. You were doing okay. I was like with you. I was like, this movie's not so bad, and then you just ruined it. Honestly, I think the movie should have ended with the cops bring Zoe back to the building and there's like nothing there. It's like totally abandoned. And I was like, oh yeah, just leave us there. Leave us in the unknown. I don't need to know. I love a like, what's going on ending. And for this, it was like, oh no, we've still got more. And they give us, of course, the 6 months later, and they give us the full conspiracy of it. And then they randomly present to us in the last like 2 seconds. It's very like Saw-like narrator who's like on a TV and you can't see who he is. It's very spoopy, and it's like, okay, he didn't speak the whole movie. He wasn't ever present in the rooms. Like, why are we introducing this so late? And I was just like, ugh, lame. But I once again say, The rooms were pretty cool, but that's all this movie had going for it. And now I will say the most badass moment. So I actually really did like Zoe bashing out all the cameras in the 4th room and figuring her own way to get out of there. And then of course, like when the people come in to clean up the dead bodies or whatever, and she just smashes them in the head. And I was like, yes, like that for me, I was like, that was like saving the movie for me, and I was like, yes, 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 that was awesome. A close second favorite badass moment is when Amanda, played by Deborah Ann Wolfe, she is in the room and she's like climbing everywhere, and she's like super strong, and she's like upside down, and she's like swinging from the telephone thing, and then she like gives up and sacrifices herself. I was like, that was pretty cool. And that was also the moment when I realized I would have definitely died early on in this movie because I have very weak arms. Okay, and now for the interesting fact, which for today I'm actually calling the bummer fact or the tragic fact, or just so sad. And so on the day of the release of this movie, there were actually 5 teenagers in Poland in an escape room that died in a fire. And it is horrible. The man that runs the escape room was arrested and charged, but there is just like something so crazy about the fact that that came out on the same day as the release day. They did hold the movie in certain countries out of respect for the families, but it is just like a full-on tragedy, absolutely horrible. The kids were like 15, 16 years old, and it's really sad, but it is, I mean, I just wanted to mention it because it is like sort of a crazy occurrence that this has happened on the day of the release of Escape Room. I will also say that because of this and because of this movie, I was just like, I have no desire to go to an escape room, and I probably just never will. Now, the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read a couple of short reviews from you guys via Twitter. This is something I'm sort of experimenting with on my channel that I might start doing, especially when new movies come out, to get a couple of other opinions from horror movie lovers like you and put them on this channel. So keep an eye on my Twitter, Girly Girl Horror, for when I do this again, but let's read a couple of your reviews. Okay, so first we have Lee at Drum Dums. He is of course another horror YouTuber. He actually has a full review of this movie that I would link down in the description box, but this is what he said. So he said, I actually liked the versatility of the characters. Some of the rooms were fun, but the ending felt way too easy, and I would say yes, it did. And then someone replied to him, so we have Edna Mode, and that is, I feel the same way. I really liked it until the ending, which felt like a slap in the face, and I was like, yeah. And then for our last one, we have Jason Burke at J Burke. It started off as a fun, modernized version of Cube. I'm assuming that's a horror movie, but I have not seen it. I'll look it up, and it says, but the last third became disjointed, and the ending was a left field cash grab that left me disappointed. And I was like, yeah, I have to agree with both of those. It's really the ending that sort of this movie shot itself in the foot. But that's overall sort of what I and a few other people thought about this movie. But I will see you in my next video, and have a nice scream. Bye.